friends, welcome back. I am going to show you my portfolio, and as usual I wrote down things that I want to say, and yeah, let's get right into it. And just for context, I am from Thailand applying to the UK, so I use UCAS. UCAS only allows you to apply to 5 universities, and my 5 is Kingston for graphic design, Roehampton for digital media, Kent University for graphic design, UAL University of Arts London for user experience design, and another UAL one for graphic and media design. I also used a representative for UAL to apply to their foundation course. I applied for the foundation course because my teacher suggested it, and also I didn't really know what I wanted to do yet, so I thought it might be good for me to get a little dabble in each field. So for the UCAS, I got accepted into 4 out of 5. The one that I didn't get was the UAL graphic and media design. Disappointed! And I also got the foundation course. For the portfolio, I used the same format, so it's 20 pages, and some of the courses allow more than 20 pages, but I don't know, I thought it was too much. It has kind of all the elements that you want, like fine art, photograph. You'll see when I also
Excuse me.
My portfolio is digital because I'm applying from international waters across the big blue ocean. So let's get started with the first page. The first page is the most important page. You want it to pop. You want them to immediately go whoa. I don't know if you're gonna go whoa, but here you go. And it's like an accordion. And if you don't know what an accordion is, it's like I really don't know how to explain it. I'll show it to you. Here it is. So it's kind of like a stretchy book, a springy stretchy book, a long one, and you can like connect it and it tells a little story. So I chose shoes as my subject. I drew like different types of shoes in places where they don't belong in. Flip-flops in the snow, sneakers on the bed, that's weird, dress shoes on the beach. It just gives off this kind of uncomfortable feeling. You get what I mean. So the next one is an animation. The idea behind it is kind of connected to the previous one, which is like out of place or doing something that you don't want to, you don't belong somewhere. And this one I chose origami because I was obsessed with origami. I'm actually gonna show you. A little dinosaur, it's kind of cute. A little rhino, another dinosaur. The paper folding and shape shifting element of it was interesting, so I used that. And again, I used Procreate for this project as well. You can see again my sketches and the frame by frame that I drew. It took me ages, I'm telling you. Every single paper fold, there's like 10 frames, and I had to do all that with my hand. I think it was worth it. The visual was, it was the same piece of paper that's folded into I think 4 birds, and every time the paper spreads back out, there's like new ribs and holes in it, so it shows that if you're pretending to be something that you're not, it can hurt you.
That's a sign. That's a sign.
So yeah, and I put a QR code on the page because you're not supposed to put videos. Next is a beverage branding project that I did. I wanted to do branding for Thai beverages just to show a bit of context of where I'm from. So I chose these 3, Nam Anchan, Kajiep, and Matum, which is kind of like traditional Thai drinks, and I also really like them. So yeah, I designed the business card, which now that I look at it is really boring. The brand name is Doom Di, which in Thai means good drinking. The next one is a print publication that I did. It is kind of linked to the Doom Di project, and this pamphlet was targeted towards older people. The font that I used was really big, and it was a simple layout, and I got artist inspiration for the type of illustration that I did, inspired by risograph printing. It's like a environmentally friendly way of printing, and what they do is they print each color at a time, so there's kind of like a shift there, and I really like that effect, so I recreated that effect on Procreate again. I love that app. It's my holy grail. Let's go on to the next one. Branding again, but the branding is for a reusable cotton swab. I chose this product because it was interesting and also environmentally friendly. Like you can see throughout my portfolio that there's an underlying theme of being environmentally friendly, you know, Mother Earth. Mother Nature! I love her. I want her to love me. It is kind of like a simple illustration. I just took photos of my hand handling like a similar sized object. Let's go on to the next one. Phew, cool transition. This is probably my second favorite one, which is a web design for a fake restaurant. So the idea behind this was to show people what restaurants would be like in the year 2050. You know, spreading awareness about pollution, trash pollution in the ocean. I used a collaging technique. So I got photos off the internet of sponges, fish heads, cigarettes, pieces that you can find in the ocean, and I collaged them into... Why is it so hard to explain? I just used each element to make a dish, and this restaurant is a fine dining restaurant, so I made a menu and I also typed a description for each dish. Now that I'm looking at it, the font that I use is really bad and it is so small you probably couldn't read it, and I just used like really sarcastic tones for the description.
Excuse me again?
Another email? Am I that important? Seriously? And also, if you zoom into the About Us section, I kind of wrote this sarcastic message. We are a fusion seafood restaurant serving high quality food with seasonal ingredients. Collaboration between the landfill and the ocean. Here, you can enjoy the robust taste of trash. Oh, the repetition there. And experience what food is like in 2050. And 2050 meaning the restaurant and also the year. I am actually kind of proud of this one. And here's the sketch. Remember everyone, if you're making a portfolio, include all of your sketches. That is where the ideas come from. The juicy bits. The brain. Every idea is important. So the next section is the fine art section. The first thing that I showed them was observational drawings with dry media, and I personally really like dry media. These are my 3 best work from my schoolwork. Really has a lot of detail. I just wanted to show them that I can draw. So the next one is also kind of like an observational drawing. There's nothing creative about, you know, the idea behind it. I just bought a bottle of beer so that I can take a photo of it. I went to the supermarket, got a bottle of beer, and then when I got home, I just poured the beer out of the bottle and took pictures with the bottle. Seriously, 3 emails. So the next one is oil painting, and this is what I did for my AS work, which is in year 12. So the concept was gathering, and my take on it was to show what is left after a gathering. Include the size of the canvas, because this one that I did is really big. It's big because you can't really tell when it's digital. Next slide. Digital painting, and I also included the process beside the final product. Now, time for the experimental part. I wanted to explore different materials, so I chose resin, and the theme that I was working on at that moment was the importance of nature and the connection between humans, nature, and trash. So I poured resin into a mold and put some trash in it. It kind of made like an interesting texture, and on the left I put some real flowers in it. Flower that I put in was white, it was fresh, but then once I poured the resin in it and then the resin dried, it turned brown and it kind of rotted, and there's some meaning behind it. So from the resin project, I developed my ideas and kind of took the isolated shapes from the resin. So as you can see from the previous page, there's circles and flower shapes, interesting silhouettes that I liked. So I drew those shapes again more simplistically. Is that a word? Simplistic? More simple. And from there, I took the shapes and cut them out of big pieces of wood. So the end product was like this big. And from the portfolio, I couldn't show them the final outcome because I didn't finish it on time, but still I really liked the idea and the development, so I just kept it in. Next, it's the juicy one. I'm just kidding. It's life drawing. A lot of art universities would like to see your life drawing skills, and luckily my school provided life drawing lessons. We actually had a life model, and you can see one of them I did with continuous line, which I really liked. An important thing is that include the time and the size. The middle one, it took 10 minutes, so it didn't really have any details or shadings. As I said before, I liked using continuous drawings, so I just kind of made it more abstract, I guess. Another thing to keep in mind when you're doing portfolio is that you want it to flow. If you've noticed throughout my portfolio, there's links between pages. It's not like I started a new project every page. Yeah, just to show that you have a thought process. The next page is probably my least favorite page of all time. I hate it. I don't hate it, but I dislike it. And it's the jellyfish sculpture. When I thought of the idea, I thought it was the most interesting idea that I've ever had, and I just wanted to do this big thing where I created a big jellyfish sculpture out of used plastic, and it was this whole ambitious idea, which clearly I didn't have enough time for. You can see the plastic lids. I used that to create the tentacles, and all of the lids that I used were
Used.
So what I did was, in front of my school there's a coffee shop. I just took this big bin, placed it next to the trash can, and just told everyone that when you're finished with your drink, please put it in this bin. Wait a couple of hours, take what's in the bin, go to the art studio and wash it. It was nasty. I'm telling you, when you combine green tea, lemonade, coffee, whatever was in those glasses together in sync, it does not smell good. But I did it because I committed. Dudes, my dudes. As you can see, it's ugly as hell, and people just start vacuuming, and it took me probably like 3 months to make. Not to make, to collect those lids. Let's move on to a better slide. Photography. There's not really anything interesting about the photos that I took. I'm actually really proud of them, especially the second one. She looks like a queen, a fruit queen. And the third one is also really cute, of a couple with plastic bags on top. The last project in this portfolio is a portrait that I did of my mom. My idea behind it was to express emotions with colors and shapes. So the real thing is made out of wood, so I did oil painting of my mom on a plank of wood. It was very frustrating because the color kept absorbing the wood, because the wood kept absorbing all of the oil paint. My mom was such an amazing model. I took about 100 pictures of her that day, but she cooperated. And as for the shapes, I also used wood. Got my teacher to cut the shapes out for me. Thank you, Mr. Sands. And I used wall paint to coat those pieces. And I wanted like a glossy, shiny finish, so I just poured on a thick layer. It took weeks to dry, but I am very happy with the outcome. And I also made it 3D, so you can see the shots from the side. There's a little bit of level there. I wanted to finish the portfolio with a bang. I wanted to finish the portfolio really strong, so I put this project at the end. Normally the school will keep the artwork that we do, but my mom really wanted this project. Another email. My mom really wanted this piece home, and it's a really big piece, and it's made of wood, so it's really heavy. But we got it home, and now it is placed right in my mom's bedroom. And yeah, that's the end of my that's the end of my portfolio tour. I hope you enjoy. If you're applying to an art university, best of luck. I don't think my portfolio is the best, but I hope you got some useful things out of it. And I'll see you next time. Bye!